This video is for those of you that are angry, like all the time. You wake up angry, you get annoyed by the smallest things, because you know what? Spoiler alert, it's probably your fault. What's up, my good vibe DJ crew? You know how we do here on my YouTube. Now, before you get upset, because you're like, what do you know, Miss Pretty Princess of Positivity all the time? No. I have been an angry person for a large majority of my life. When me and my husband first started dating, I was in an anger management class. He literally asked me if I could go on a date with him. And I was like, sorry, babe, but Wednesdays, anger management. I love that he didn't flinch, but that's a story for another time. Now, anger isn't necessarily this negative emotion. It can be incredibly powerful. It can put us in a place of movement. However, it can also be the thing that we use, the crutch, the thing to keep us from getting vulnerable. Because being vulnerable is scary. But if you're not vulnerable, well, my friend, that's where strength comes from. Putting yourself out there, taking risks, that's vulnerability. That's, being brave and doing something that scares you, even though you're probably going to screw up. But when you're angry, when you're consistently angry over the littlest things, or when things don't go your way, it's kind of your way of trying to stay in control instead of letting go of the outcome. You get angry, you yell at people, or you get passive aggressive, or you blame others because it's never your fault. It's always somebody else. You have somebody to be angry at. You were stuck in traffic because some jerk did this thing and now you're upset. Breathe. Deep breaths. Now, when I say that it's probably your fault, I'm talking about there are things that are in our control and out of our control. And often we want to depend on other people to do the things for us that we should be doing for ourselves. Or we want to blame other people when things don't work out, when in reality, there was probably something that we could have done differently. We probably set our expectations too high of others and need to lower what we expect from others and maybe up what we expect from ourselves. Now, what I know for me when it came to anger is that I used it in order to protect myself. When something bad happens, I got angry. Because if I felt sad or hurt, then suddenly I felt like I wasn't really in control of my emotions anymore. I was allowing somebody to get to me if I was going to get upset about something. Meanwhile, getting angry was also allowing people to get to me. Get angry means, again, not only are you shifting the focus on somebody else or something out of our control, but you're not taking responsibility. You're not necessarily allowing yourself to process the situation because I might have been in the wrong. I might have screwed up somewhere. There have definitely been situations in which somebody totally screwed me over. But if I was honest with myself, if I really sat down and thought about the situation, I probably enabled it in some way. Like there was a red flag that told me I probably couldn't trust this person, or I should lower my expectations of what they will and won't do for me. And instead, I ignored it, expected the world, didn't get it, got upset about it. Or maybe I enabled the situation by giving too much instead of allowing people to give back and show their morals, their values, their beliefs. Being angry all the time means there is something you are avoiding thinking about. Because again, that vulnerability. What if I started taking responsibility and thought about the fact that maybe I don't trust myself in the relationships that I'm choosing. Maybe there was a breakup that happened and you felt like the victim, and most likely were. However, what are you going to do differently moving forward? What were the red flags that you ignored leading up to what became a complete nightmare? It's taking responsibility for our part while also acknowledging that we're only human and learn from that experience. I mean, to go like a level deeper, I know a lot of incredible women that find themselves in toxic relationships. So they're like these empowered, independent, I don't need no man to do this career. And they meet this sweet talker that slowly but surely poisons them mentally to the point where they start losing a lot of confidence in themselves. And while that woman is obviously a victim of emotional abuse or maybe unfortunately physical abuse, there are red flags that are leading up to that. And I mean, being angry can be really powerful in getting yourself out of that situation and saying, no, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. But also eventually you want to find peace. And in order to find peace, you have to acknowledge all the other feelings that you're experiencing, the sadness, the hurt, the pain. And we see this in relationships when, maybe producers are working together and things don't go right. They don't go according to plan. And instead of getting into another relationship, instead of working with other people, we stay stuck in this space where it's like, I don't want to trust people ever again because I can't even trust myself to make the right decisions. And that's the reality of it, that we use anger and feeling jaded and getting upset with people so quickly because the reality is we're not really taking responsibility for the relationships and the jobs and the projects that we're taking on. And anger is a really easy way to let go of responsibility, to say, hey, this isn't my fault. And I think it's a really important lesson for people to realize. I know for me, it was to protect myself when bad things were happening and I didn't want to feel hurt and pain. I would just go to anger. And now when I do notice that I'm about to get angry or I'm about to or I just don't want to be the victim, I don't want to feel hurt in a situation, I like to explore those feelings. Like, okay, I'm getting angry. Why am I getting angry? Because my food wasn't ready when I got there, and the thing said that they were going to be ready. This is just like a weird, random little example. Maybe I'm upset because I didn't pack a lunch the night before. Maybe I'm upset because I'm in a rush. But why am I in a rush? Because I didn't plan for things. So I was expecting this business to help me out, but maybe other people bombarded them with orders, and now that's why the food is late. So maybe I could have a little bit of empathy for them because they're struggling with whatever is going on and they're doing the best that they can do in this particular time in their life. And guess what? Maybe I'm 5, 10, 15 minutes late for something, but what I learned from that situation is to plan ahead, to be responsible, and to have empathy for the other people around me. It probably seems like such a simple thing to do, but when we are in that place of anger, it's hard. It's hard to break that habit. But I invite you to start getting curious about your anger and start taking responsibility for it. Is this anger going to put you in a place of movement, or is it going to put you in a place of being the victim and it's not your fault? If so, time to get curious, friends.